Welcome to the Immigrant in Law channel. We continue our honest and detailed analysis of all the countries of the European Union through the eyes of immigrants. In this video, you will learn the real pros and cons of living in Slovenia, Finland, France and Croatia, without advertising, without gloss and without illusions. Compare, analyze and choose the country that is right for you. So, let's continue our journey through Europe. Slovenia is a small country that is often underestimated. And how wrong is that? It is an amazing combination of alpine mountains, warm Adriatic Sea, ancient cities and European order. If you dream of quiet safety and life surrounded by nature, Slovenia can be the right place for you. The first thing that catches your eye is cleanliness and order. Cities are well maintained, streets are washed, even in villages everything is neat and tidy. The level of security is one of the highest in the EU. It is really peaceful here. You can leave your bicycle without lock, children walk without fear, streets are safe at any time of day. The second thing is nature. Slovenia is a real postcard. Lake Bled, Triglav Alps, vineyards, thermal springs, and at the same time, access to the sea. Even in the capital, Ljubljana, you can drive to the nearest forest or lake in 15 minutes. For lovers of mountains, hiking, bicycles, and simply solitude with nature, here are almost ideal conditions. Prices are moderate, rent, food, transportation, cheaper than in Austria, Italy, or Germany. Slovenia is not included in the list of the cheapest EU countries, but it will not hit the budget, especially if you live outside the tourist areas. One of the main advantages of Slovenia is that you can obtain citizenship by repatriation in just 12 months. This opens up unique prospects for living in this beautiful, safe and harmonious country. The general feeling is one of tranquility. There is no city bustle, constant noise, aggression in society here. People lead a measured lifestyle, value personal space, and try not to interfere in other people's affairs. If you are an introvert and do not like crowds, you will definitely like it. But there are some important limitations. The first is the labor market. It's very small. The country is compact and everything is connected with it. Few companies, limited number of vacancies. Unless you are an IT specialist, a doctor or an entrepreneur, it can be difficult to get a good salary. Society is closed. Slovenes are polite but keep their distance. Friends are not easy to find, especially as an adult. Even after several years of residence, you can feel like a stranger. Not out of spite, but simply because the locals are in no hurry to let you into the inner circle. The language barrier is also a bit palpable. English is not understood by everyone, especially in the hinterland. In Ljubljana it is easier, but in the regions it can be difficult without Slovene. Finland is a country that seems ideal to many people. It is quiet, clean, safe, and has a strong social system. Order, personal boundaries, and nature are respected here. But behind this picture there is its own specificity. Finland is not suitable for everyone, and it is important to realize this before moving. Education is one of the best in the world. Finnish school is not only about knowledge, but also about psychological comfort. Here they respect children, do not overload them, and create conditions so that they want to learn. Many people move here just for the sake of the education system, and they are satisfied. The ecology is almost a benchmark. Lakes, forests, clean air, no industrial emissions in the cities. All this is not in theory, but in real everyday life. Noise is minimal, garbage is sorted, transportation runs on time, bicycles are popular. Finland is one of the greenest countries in Europe. Safety is on the level, it's peaceful in the day and night. There is no fear of letting your child go to school alone or forgetting something on a park bench. Society lives by the rules, the police work, the level of trust is high. Let's add another important advantage here, work ethics. If you are professional and responsible, it will be appreciated. Finns respect other people's work and expect the same from others. It is not customary to sell yourself here. Results are more important than a personal brand. But there is an adjustment cost to all of this. The first thing many people explore is darkness and winter. There are long months here without sunshine. In December, a day can last only 4 or 5 hours, especially in the north of the country. This affects not only mood, but also performance, energy, and overall psycho-emotional state. Without vitamin D and light, it can be hard, especially the first year. The second point is socialization. Finns are very closed. They are polite, friendly, but they almost do not let you into their personal space. A neighbor can say hello to you for 5 years, and yet you will never know his name. Making friends is difficult, especially without a common school or job. Sometimes newcomers have the feeling that you live nearby, but not within the community. Then, of course, there's the language. Finnish is one of the most difficult languages in Europe. The structure, words, grammar, everything is unfamiliar. Without language, you can survive, especially in Helsinki, where there are a lot of English speakers. But for integration, employment, and everyday communication, you can hardly get anywhere without Finnish. It is necessary to study it seriously and for a long time. France is a dreamland for many. Baguettes, the Louvre, vineyards, the Riviera. But behind the tourist postcard lies a complex and multi-layered reality. You can really live a beautiful life here, but you will have to understand how the system works and accept the French way of life with all its paradoxes. The first advantage is the incredible diversity. France is not one country, but a whole collection of regions. If you want to live in the mountains, there are the Alps. You dream of the sea, the Côte d'Azur. You prefer coolness, Brittany. A cozy province, the Dordogne. Big city, Paris, Lyon, Marseille. Each region has its own climate, cuisine, even temperament. Architecture and history are part of everyday life. Houses with balconies and shutters, castles, narrow streets, open-air markets, ancient churches. France has preserved its past and skillfully incorporated it into the present. Here, aesthetics is in the little things. In the morning coffee on the terrace, in the facades of houses, in the design of shop windows. The social system is powerful. The French are used to the state taking part in life. It pays benefits, covers part of the rent, gives access to quality medicine and education. Schools are free, universities are almost free, medicine is partially compensated through insurance, which is compulsory here. But France is also a country of bureaucracy. Making a doctor's appointment, opening an account, getting documents, everything can take a long time. Sometimes everything goes smoothly, and sometimes the system goes down. No one answers, and you just have to wait. With French bureaucracy, you have to be patient and be able to remind about yourself. Renting a place to live is a separate pain. In Paris and large cities, it is difficult to find a decent apartment. The prices are high, the demand is huge, and the conditions of rent are strict. They may require a guarantor, a lot of documents to pay months in advance. And if you are a foreigner without a stable contract, the process becomes even more complicated. Integration into society is not always easy either. The French are polite but wary. They value their culture, language, habits, and are not in a hurry to adjust. They respect freedom, but they expect you to respect their lifestyle, to speak French, to follow local rules, not to try to live in your own way. This is especially true in the provinces, where newcomers are treated with restraint. In many ways, it all depends on the language. If you learn French and try to speak it, the doors open faster. Croatia is about the sea, mountains, clear water, and the feeling that you are living in a tourist postcard. This country is chosen by those who dream of a quiet life near the Adriatic, natural food, friendly people, and the atmosphere of the unhurried south. But like everywhere else, this beauty has its pitfalls. The first thing that falls in love with Croatia is nature. Mountains, pine forests, waterfalls, the clearest sea, dozens of islands where you can live in seclusion. All this is not on the photo, but in reality. The climate is Mediterranean, mild winter, warm summer, lots of sunshine. If you value eco-friendliness and visual aesthetics around, Croatia will please you. Safety is another huge advantage. This is one of the most peaceful countries in the region. There is no mass crime here. Children calmly walk the streets, and in small towns even cars can stand open. People trust each other, and this can be felt literally in everyday life. The locals are generally friendly, especially in small towns and tourist areas. Croatians like to talk, willingly help, do not look with suspicion at foreigners. And in large cities like Zagreb, they have long been accustomed to people moving around, from students to freelancers. It is worth mentioning the development of the IT sector. In recent years, Croatia has begun to attract digital nomads and freelancers. Special visas have been launched, there are startups, co-working spaces are popping up, and the internet is fast even on the coast. By the region standards, this is a very modern trend. But despite the sunny pictures, Croatia is not for everyone. The language is difficult. The Croatian language is not easy, especially the grammar. English is known in tourist places, but in the hinterland or when dealing with domestic issues, it will be difficult without the local language. To integrate, get a job or start a business, you will have to learn the language. And seriously. The economy is fragile, salaries are low, and the labor market is narrow, especially outside the capital. Young people often leave to Germany or Austria. It is difficult to find a job for a foreigner without language and connections, and running a business is fraught with bureaucracy and a complicated tax system. Another peculiarity is seasonality. In summer, life is boiling. Tourists, cafes, festivals, fairs. But as soon as the season ends, the seaside regions become quiet, sometimes too quiet. Many establishments close for the winter, the streets become empty, and active life stops until spring. As you can see, each European country has its own character, its own advantages and disadvantages. Choosing a country is always individual. Stability is more important to some, climate is more important to another, and accessibility of adaptation and career opportunities are more important to others. Compare carefully and choose wisely. Immigrant in Law team is ready to answer all questions about migration to the European Union. Our experts will help you find the best route to EU citizenship so that you can live, work, or study freely in any of the 27 European countries. In the next video, you'll learn the honest pros and cons of living in countries like the Czech Republic, Sweden, and Estonia. Stay tuned, give us likes and ask your questions in the comments. Subscribe to Immigrant in Law channel and open a world of opportunities for you and your family. See you in the next episode.